Good morning, it's Robert. I'm pleased to be with you. And I want us to talk on the subject of inner beauty. And I want to read from the passage 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. Now this is a passage that applies primarily to wives, but it has a relevance to all of us. So if you're a guy, don't switch off. This is what Peter says. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewellery or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. I wonder if you, like me, notice the discrepancies between how you wish to come across and your inner world, which is sometimes very different. We want always, don't we, to present a good image to those around us, and yet inwardly things can be very different. And I wonder if, like me, you sometimes experience double standards in your own life, where in one context you say one thing and in another you say something different. Perhaps you find that you get angry all too easily, or you take offence at the slightest thing. Perhaps you find yourself wearing a mask for the world to see. If your inner world could be seen by others and become visible, perhaps put on a YouTube video, you would want that YouTube video to be password protected. If all your thoughts were publicly visible, you'd be deeply ashamed. I would certainly. Now, the context of this 1 Peter passage is wives submitting to husbands. And that's a subject that's controversial in our own culture. And it's not my prime focus today. But it's also about wives being a good witness to their unbelieving husbands, so that their unfading beauty and gentleness of spirit is something that's very appealing, through which Christ speaks to draw unbelieving husbands to faith. But the subject of that inconsistency between our inner world, that lack of inner beauty, and our outward adornment is something that Jesus also spoke about. Listen to these quite harsh words from Matthew 23 and verse 25. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they're full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside also will be clean. Jesus tells us that if we want to be outwardly clean, the place to start is the inside. We cannot conceal our inner world from others for very long. Soon it'll become apparent to others, and very quickly, if we are inwardly angry or hurting, bitter or unforgiving, spiteful or jealous. Our inner world soon spills out for everyone to see. Now there's good news. Jesus already counts us as if we're inwardly clean. When you become a Christian, an amazing transformation happens that's unseen, but it's a transformation in terms of how God sees us. The cross of Christ enables a divine exchange to happen, where your unclean inner world was placed on Christ and dealt with on that cross, and his righteousness is conferred upon you by grace. You've been washed by the blood of Christ. At the time of the Last Supper, Jesus says, and this is John 13, verse 10, those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean, and you are clean. That's what Jesus says to his disciples. But there's a sense that we've got to become what we already are. And this is a work of the Spirit. It's the work of sanctification. It's related to the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. But what about practically? Well, there's no quick fix, is there? There's no deal with my inner world in a hurry switch that we can just press and everything becomes different. It's a gradual process. It's a lifelong process. And it stems from our walk with Jesus. And at the heart of our walk with Jesus is our daily devotional time. And how important it is that there's quality in our daily devotional times. Quality coming before Jesus with earnestness and sincerity, honesty and openness is much better than long times of distracted prayer and Bible study. It's good to read about other role models. I've been greatly encouraged recently by reading about the life of the great American evangelist and teacher, Jonathan Edwards. And as I've learned to him, I think, yes, that's something I can learn. And where we are aware of inconsistencies in our life, then bring those inconsistencies to the Lord Jesus. Where we see the inspiring examples of others and think, yes, I can learn from that. Bring that to Jesus. Say, Jesus, give me the grace to be changed, to be transformed. Help me to learn from your word. Help me to learn from others. Those things that are ugly in my life, help me to put them behind me. Help me to be different and to behave in a way that is much more consistent inwardly and outwardly. And little by little, Jesus will change you to be much more like him. And as you look back, you should be able to say about your life that it's not what it once was. It might not be what you want it to be yet, but you should be able to see the hand of Jesus changing you. And that is the sanctifying work of the Spirit. May God bless you, and thank you for listening.